there's always this prevailing thought that women put out there, which is that they would prefer if men chased women. It's the natural order of things. If a man is the one chasing the woman, it shouldn't be the other way around because that's not natural, and men should be going after them because they're the prize. Now, I've tried to tell you guys on this show that when women are highly interested, you will not have to do a whole lot for those women to chase you down. And if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. But of course, I say this and women think I'm crazy and some men will think, but I'm the guy, I'm supposed to, etc. And this is why I try to teach you guys examples of ways that women will move when they are in fact highly interested in trying to chase after you to get your attention. And so there was an interesting article that came out on Entertainment Weekly that I thought illustrated this perfectly. So I'm going to pull this article up and show it to you guys. So you guys might know the band Blink-182 was a very popular band in the late 90s and early 2000s. And one of the members of the group was Mark Hoppus. I believe he was possibly the singer. I didn't follow them that closely, so forgive me if I don't get that correctly, right? But anyway, he's putting out a book. And in the book, he details an awful date that he had with Melissa Joan Hart. If you grew up in the 90s, you know her from the show Clarissa Explains It All or Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And so this particular piece is not about how bad the date was. I mean, the date, he says it was awful because they didn't get along great. But the reason I'm showing you this article is because they give an excerpt from the book where he details how the date even came about in the first place. And so I want to show you that, so that way it gives some more proof to the stuff that I talk about when I say that when women are highly interested, they will chase after you. So let's just scroll down here to the excerpt in the book. He says, later that night, I went on a date with the actress Melissa Joan Hart. She and I had met at the Teen Choice Awards, and she must have found me interesting because she had her publicist reach out to my label's publicist to give me her number. So they meet at this thing, and she clearly has the hots, and she's like, oh my God, I want to get in touch with him. Now, did she say to herself, I guess if I want him to reach out, he's going to have to hit up my publicist, or I'm going to have to wait for his invite to be incoming in order to accept some kind of invitation to meet up with him? No, that's not what happened. What happened was she saw this guy, she was highly interested, and she made it such that she was able to get her number to him. Because when women are interested, they'll make moves like that instead of waiting on you to make that move. So then he says, totally normal courtship. When we got on the phone, I played it cool. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'll be in LA shooting my new music video, so we should have dinner after I rap. I thought I was so slick using this Hollywood industry jargon, but I doubt it impressed her. I was newly famous, but she had been famous for years. Yeah, she'd been famous since the early 90s, and they got famous in 99. So she had like 9 to 10 years ahead of him, and that's just for the TV shows. That's not including potentially any commercial she did as a kid. So he says, Melissa and I went to a sushi restaurant in the Valley. It was an awful date. She was very nice, but we weren't connecting. Everything in her life revolved around acting, and it was hard to relate to her about anything else. I'd ask what she liked to eat besides sushi, and she'd say, well, I'm usually eating whatever catering provides on set. I'd ask what she likes to read, and she'd say, well, I'm usually reading scripts for work. And I'm sure from her perspective, all I could talk about was music. We just weren't a great match. It was tough. So this is a good example, by the way, guys, of what a lot of guys do on dates unassumingly also, is that you're going on dates with women and you're thinking, okay, I want to talk to her about myself so she can get to know me. And some of you guys aren't aware that you're talking about one subject for a long period of time, and it gets very monotonous and boring. So you need to be asking her questions about herself. And when you talk about yourself, talk about a variety of things about yourself. Don't just stick to one thing or one habit or one hobby that you're interested in, or this one thing you work at and all you talk about is work, work, work. Like that can be very mundane to women. Okay. But she did it in this case. And I could see if I was on this date, I'd be like, oh, everything she talks about is about TV. I get it. You're in TV. It's what you like to do. It's the same thing with like new mothers, where all they talk about is the baby. Like, I get it. You have a newborn, but you had a life outside of this kid, And I assume you have other things to talk about besides this kid. Like, it gets very annoying. I digress. Anyway, he says, after dinner, she took me to her house and showed me around. She had a beautiful place nearby with a view that overlooked the city and a huge hot tub. I thought she might be hinting that we should get in the tub. I told her I had an early set time and that I should probably get going. She dropped me back at the hotel. So at this point, he goes on talking about how he met his now wife later that same evening. But to suffice to say, guys, so what does this show you? What are the moves that she actually made that he didn't have to make that women convince us we have to make? Well, for one, she gave her number to him by way of her publicist, but she reached out to get the number first, right? Then when he came to LA, they went to a spot, had a good time, and then she drove him in her car back to her place to potentially do some stuff, okay? So for you guys that are like, how do you make this stuff happen on the first date? This is a normal thing that can happen. Like, I know you guys will think, well, he's famous and she's famous and whatever, but normal everyday guys, you can have this happen also if you know the ins and outs of attraction, if you know how to speak to women properly, if you know how to do whatever, but more importantly, if a woman has a high enough interest in you when she starts dating you, she will make all the moves. She will give you the number. She will darn near reach out to you to ask for the date. She will be the one trying to cajole you to go back to her place to do some stuff. And so, like I said, I thought that article just gave a really good example of that, because I want you guys to understand that, yes, you need to be doing the best that you can to show up authentically and work on getting yourself to a place where you will be attracted to a lot of women. But when that happens, I can assure you that when women get highly interested enough, they will put out all the stops and they'll be the ones chasing you down for your attention. Do not buy into the lie that these women tell you about that not being a thing, because they're speaking on hypothetical men that don't exist. And I can assure you, every woman's had that guy where they've had to have their girlfriend say, you spend all your time with him. You're letting him use you. And the girl's like, no, I just want to. That's what happens when women are highly interested. So hopefully you're able to see that now by way of that article. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Harry Dating Convos. Don't forget to visit harrywilmington.com to download my free ebook, Texting Women Like a Boss. And while you're there, if you're ready to take things to the next level with your dating life, check out the Get Girls Academy membership program for exclusive strategies and live coaching. Go to harrywilmington.com to learn more and join today. Lastly, if you've got a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, leave a comment below or write me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.